I think my gambling addiction has been cured. I was sinking deeper into debt when I stumbled upon the invitation, an old, crumpled note tucked into the corner of my favorite dive bar. It promised a poker game unlike any other, with high stakes and secretive players. As a man accustomed to the highs and lows of gambling, I couldn't resist the temptation, even though my luck had been nothing but bad. The address led me to a decaying mansion on the outskirts of town, its once grand facade now weathered and crumbling. Inside, the atmosphere was heavy with the scent of mildew and the weight of lost fortunes. The room designated for the game was a forgotten ballroom, its opulence faded and tarnished by time. A grand oak table dominated the center of the room, surrounded by players whose faces were concealed behind elaborate masks and ornate costumes. They exuded an air of mystery and menace that sent a chill down my spine, a stark contrast to my own desperation and financial ruin. I took my place among them, my heart pounding with a mix of anxiety and reluctant hope. The game commenced in solemn silence, the only sound the shuffle of cards and the faint rustle of fabric as the masked figures steadied their hands. As the night progressed, I found myself ensnared in the hypnotic rhythm of the game. The stakes were not just money, they were a chance at redemption, a fleeting hope of escaping the suffocating weight of my debts. But with each hand, my losses mounted, my chips dwindling to nothing as the masked players maintained their inscrutable silence. The room seemed to grow darker, the shadows deepening as the hours passed. I stole glances at the other players, their movements unnervingly graceful, their gazes fixed on the cards with an intensity that bordered on obsession. The masks they wore were intricate, each one a work of art, but beneath the surface, I sensed something sinister lurking, a darkness that threatened to consume us all. A sense of unease crept over me as the game wore on. The masked figures remained aloof, their voices hushed and their expressions unreadable. It was as if they were not human at all, but creatures from a realm beyond our own, hiding behind a facade of flesh and bone. In a moment of clarity amidst the chaos of the game, I looked around and saw the truth. The masks were not mere disguises but vessels, concealing the true forms of my opponents. Beneath the veneer of humanity, their faces contorted into grotesque visages, their eyes burning with a hunger that transcended mortal desires. Fear gripped my heart as I realized the danger I was in. These were not ordinary players, they were beings from a realm beyond, playing for stakes far higher than mere money. They whispered promises of wealth and power, of dreams fulfilled and debts erased, in exchange for something far more precious, my soul. Struggling to maintain my composure, I pushed all my remaining chips to the center of the table, placing my last desperate bet on one final hand. The cards fell with a finality that echoed through the room, each flip of the card a heartbeat in the silence that followed. The tension mounted as the final card was revealed, Queen of Spades. The masked figures recoiled in horror, their forms flickering and wavering like shadows cast by an unseen flame. In that fleeting moment of triumph, I knew that I had won, but at what cost? As the creatures vanished into the darkness, leaving behind only echoes of their sinister presence, I stumbled away from the table, my mind reeling from the horrors I had witnessed. The weight of the night's events settled over me like a shroud, a stark reminder of the perilous path I had chosen in my pursuit of redemption.